On today's episode, it's time to discuss the pilot that everyone's talking about, Netflix's most trending series, The Woman in the House Across the Street from the Girl in the Window. It's a domestic thriller starring Kristen Bell as Anna Whitaker, a mourning mother with a drinking problem and numerous other issues. What were your expectations, just based off the title, and whatever you heard about the show going in?
I didn't hear anything about the show going in, so I just saw the poster for it when I was about to watch it, and it seemed like it was going to be a type of like Wolf Like Me, Dead Like Me show, and that's basically what I got. It was almost exactly that.
So you could tell it was a comedy?
Yeah, it's darkly comedic, but like the tone also was the thing that gave it away the most. Like it had a very Why Women Kill like feel to it.
I was going to ask because it seems like a Why Women Kill type show.
Yeah, I mean, you can
satire,
and it's almost like I don't want to say like the character is different from Dexter, but she does have the same type of Dexter narrator-esque dialogue. She also has some weird problems, as you mentioned. She's an alcoholic, but like whenever she's baking a casserole or something, she'll like put her hands on like what was just in the oven, like she'll try to carry it without any gloves.
Do you see her burn herself?
Yeah, at the very beginning of the show. And so it's like you get a very odd main character within the first couple of minutes.
And did you like that?
I mean, I thought that it was interesting. I thought that the best part of the show was when you figured out that the daughter was dead. Because what they originally do is it starts off and Kristen Bell is telling her daughter, hey, we gotta get you to school. She goes to school, and then it turns out that the daughter like goes into class, and then there are some people that look at her strangely, and they're like, what are you doing? And one person goes over there and is like, hey, I hope
looking
you're
at Kristen Bell strange, or
yeah.
Anna.
Yeah, because she's like wearing like a bathrobe or whatever at school, and they're like, hey, are you doing okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm fine. And then she's like, the other person's like, okay, well, I got you this date because you need to like get over your ex-husband.
So one of her friends.
Right, and she's like, this person's supposed to be very nice, so just wear a dress and try to have a good time tonight. And then later on in that night, she puts on the dress, she goes into her daughter's room, and she's like, hey, can I get a kiss from you? And the daughter's like, I can't. And she's like, why? And then the daughter's like, because I'm dead. And it turns out that there is a completely empty room. So that part I thought was the best part of the show.
Did that give you chills, or did it make you laugh?
It didn't give me either. It was just one of those things where I was like, well, that was done well, and I was happy it wasn't like an ending twist where it was just done long enough to the point where it was effective, I thought.
The show's only 22 minutes.
It's about 30 minutes for this first episode.
The first episode's 30 minutes?
Yeah.
So about halfway through? That's when you find out?
No, it was about 10 minutes in.
Oh, super early.
Yeah.
All right, so what happens the last 20 minutes?
Well, that's when you get introduced to Neil. He is a new guy that's come across the street.
He's the neighbor, right?
Yeah, he's the neighbor.
I've heard him referred to as the British Penn Badgley.
Yeah, no, this is exactly like you. If you're one of those people who like those Lifetime, like, oh, there's something that one person is hiding, I think you're definitely going to enjoy this show a lot. But I'll get to that kind of later. Neil has a daughter. Her name is Elizabeth, I believe.
Same age as her daughter was, or not?
Yeah, around the same age.
Okay.
And Elizabeth kind of has like a bonding moment when she's selling chocolate bars to Anna.
That's very, what was the first show you brought up that we just did a few weeks ago? The werewolf one.
Oh, Wolf Like Me.
Yeah, that's very, because didn't Amy Adams or
right, exactly.
Isla Fisher have a very unique relationship with the daughter?
Right,
like,
but
off the bat?
in that one, it's more kind of flipped because Anna is the main character in this, and Elizabeth is more the side character. But, you know, Anna is like, okay, I'll be able to... She wants to be very friendly to the neighbors, so that's why she's buying, like, 5 boxes of chocolate bars, which is just going to be, like, $50. She's wanting to bake them a casserole. We get some information about her, like, she has fear of the rain. Originally, when she made the first casserole and was trying to bring it over to the house, she, like, ended up raining, like, halfway through, and she fainted in the middle of the street, breaking the casserole on herself.
Is this like Sheila from Shameless, where she can't leave her house and like she immediately starts feeling?
I did kind of get that sense, but also at the beginning of the episode, she bought what we thought was her daughter to school.
In the rain?
Really just herself. No, just outside. So it's not like she's housebound, but I don't think gets out that often.
I meant with the rain though. When she was walking across the street, was it raining?
No, it started raining right as she was crossing the street.
Got it.
So not at first, but there's also like some house repairs being done and everything, and then we get some backstory on Neil apparently because Neil saw her.
When you say
crash.
House repairs, I just want to. Is it a handyman there?
Yeah.
And the handyman's name is. Well, I know his real name in real life. Did you catch his name?
No, I didn't catch his name.
Okay, well, it's played by Cameron Britton. Did you recognize him?
No.
From Umbrella Academy.
I still don't know.
The Killer.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, because he's working on like a mailbox
Yes.
for like a majority of the episode, and I just found that strange because I don't think they ever really go back to it, at least in the first episode.
Yeah, he's also been in Mindhunter. People really like that guy, so I was wondering if he had a bigger role in this show.
No, he
probably comes along later.
Yeah, I would think so.
Okay, so her relationship with Neil, though, by the end of this episode, where's it at?
Well, they bond over the fact that Neil lost his wife.
Yeah.
She died, and she is like a mourning, but her ex-husband is still alive. She's even like checking his Instagram 24/7. But by the end of the episode, Anna has made another casserole. She brings it over.
How many casseroles has she made throughout the episode? Only two. She continually makes them throughout the series.
Yeah, she's making something at the beginning that actually might have been another casserole. I don't know. But she finally brings it over, and much like Wolf Like Me, and also it reminded me a little bit of clickbait, strangely enough, at the very beginning of the episode, they're having like dinner together. She ends up having dinner with them.
Clickbait, the horror show.
Yeah, the horror show, because at the very beginning, because where they were eating outside with Elizabeth, Anna, and Neil, it looked like a place from clickbait. But she goes back. She thinks that like there's a possible chance she might be together with Neil. But surprise, surprise, at the very end of the episode, you see, much like the Wolf Like Me poster, Neil looking through the window over at her house in a very maniacal way.
Did you get to see the ex-husband at all?
You saw him in Instagram pictures. That was about it.
Oh, you didn't recognize him based off that?
No.
Okay, he's played by the guy from the movie The Perfect Guy. I think he's the one that ends up stalking her.
So he
has experience with this type of...
I thought that Kristen Bell was the only one that was famous from the show. I saw that Will Ferrell was also executively producing it, but I wouldn't be surprised if this was like Kristen Bell's idea or whatever.
I don't think so. The idea, the creators were Rachel Ramros, Hugh Davidson, and Larry Dorff, who I had never heard of before, but they've worked together for a long time. They've acted together for a long time, mostly in cartoon shows, though. There's Mad, the show based off the magazine,
right?
Mad,
yeah.
The Looney Tunes show, which ran for a couple seasons like 10 years ago, and then Mike Tyson Mysteries.
I think those are all either Cartoon Network or Adult Swim shows.
Yeah, and so they made the jump, and they were like, well, this is really funny, but we're going to do it in a sort of subtle way. So a lot of people who watched the show didn't realize it was... Even with the title, a lot of people watched this and took it very seriously. They thought that the show was basically a Lifetime movie.
I knew it was going to be a TV show, but I thought it was going to be like a 42-minute drama or something like every episode.
But you had some people going in there expecting almost scary movie, where it was just completely jokes all the time. That would have been me, because I saw the title and I was like, there's no way you make it that long and that ridiculous without having it just be... And the poster is kind of her looking funny.
There's definitely some drama in it.
But the way I read it was that they took it kind of straight, and people were... mixed response based off that straight take, because the tropes that they're making fun of tropes, they're making fun of the normal formula arcs, and you have to just be really familiar with that genre and the stereotypes that go along with it to catch some of those jokes.
That's why I was saying, like, I think anyone who likes those type of things will be able to get into it.
That's a good take.
As far as it being like actually good, though, for people who just want to see a good TV show, I mean, it's mediocre. Like, it's one of those things where you know what you're going to get, and I will also say it's very predictable, and because of the predictability aspect of it, it seems slow moving.
So far, it's predictable.
Yeah,
there is a crazy ending.
Oh no, I'm sure by the ending there's a couple twists, because that's what happens with these TV shows. But I'm just saying that because of the first episode, the predictability factor, since you know where it's going, you know that Neil is not just going to be this good guy who's trying to help out his daughter. Maybe he killed his wife. Maybe did all these different things. It made the pace somewhat slow. Also, I forgot to mention that in the episode when she was in a bathtub in one scene, and at the very end you see that someone is in her house. You're not sure if that's supposed to be Neil or if that's just someone else.
Yeah.
But someone apparently...
It's a mysterious figure.
Yeah, you saw a shadow of it. Someone keeps breaking into her house and you don't know who. So,
what would you give it?
I'd give it overall a 6 out of 10. It's fine. I think it's...
So it passes for you, but it doesn't do anything other.
Yeah, no.
Are you going to watch the rest of it? Because it's only like 3 hours total.
Well, you said it's unpredictable, right? You said it's unpredictable?
It's got... Okay, so Slate came out and they were like, well, there are lagging times with this show, but it kills the ending. It just slays it. And then I read some other people who really found the ending memorable. There was also something that was funny. When I first looked up the show and was starting research, do you remember the show Them?
Yeah. I had to watch it, yeah.
Yeah, I know. But you wouldn't compare these two together, right? Because one's like
I wouldn't think so.
A horror show from the 1950s, or talking about the 1950s.
Around that time, yeah.
It is a domestic thriller of sorts. However, I remember in the 5th or 6th episode, there was like something terrible that happens in that show. We just mentioned it.
Yeah, we didn't talk about it.
But we didn't talk about it because we weren't doing that episode. That's exactly what happens here. Something happens in the 5th or 6th episode here that just took over every single article. And they were like, everybody's...
Oh, so that was the big thing.
It wasn't even a twist. It was just a scene. So... if you want to stick around for events to happen, this is the show to stick around
Yeah, I mean,
for.
I maybe at some point we'll come back to it, but I think that's also just a show you can kind of put on in the background. But
absolutely.
And just,
so, and maybe even, like, see Easter eggs and stuff played every once in a while. So let's get to the bad.
Okay.
So it's got a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a 50% audience score. So, like, the critical and audience score are kind of in line together.
I'm not surprised, because that's kind of what I was giving it.
It's got a 6.4 on IMDb, and The Guardian gave it a more positive review than The Gilded Age. It gave it 2 stars as opposed to 1 star.
I was just about to say, because when I've looked at The Guardian these past couple of shows that I've done the research for, they've given them pretty low scores.
They're not
1 out of 5.
To trash these things.
Yeah.
So I did find some interesting things. They made a big deal about how, because Kristen Bell had to drink so much in the thing, not like she had to drink so much red liquid.
Yeah.
She ended up not drinking grape juice, which most people do,
She didn't end up
did
actually
hibiscus
drinking
tea.
one. Okay. Yeah, because there's a part in this episode where she completely pours, like, a glass to its brim and then, like, drinks the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
There's about 5 servings per, like, wine bottle, and it just showed that she was... And that's just a joke on, like, why. So you've heard of The Girl on the Train, right?
Yeah.
I actually read that once, I remember. It's sort of forgettable, but it was a bestseller.
They came out with a movie of it, I think, a couple years later.
Yeah, and I had read it before that, just because of where it was. It was really popular at the time it came out. Then you also have The Woman in the Window, which came out this last year. That actually has a worse Rotten Tomatoes score. And
that's why I thought the title was making fun of.
Yeah, of course. It's making fun of all of those, just sticking them together.
And I think at least part of the title is like a book she's reading. I don't know if it's the full number, but she's reading a book.
They did give her books from this type of show.
Yeah, I think it starts off like the book is called like The Woman in the House Across the Street, but I don't know. Yeah,
she looks a lot different than she did in The Good Place too.
Oh yeah, no, completely.
Like when I first saw a picture, I was like, well, I've never seen her with bangs before. But then again, I was like, wait, in Veronica Mars maybe? I don't know.
Then again, she's playing a completely different character.
Mm-hmm. In fact, would you say that she's just less perky or?
Oh yeah, no, she's really
just depressed
sad
the entire time.
Yeah, the entire time, because bad things are kind of happening to her. Forget the fact that she's like fainting in the middle of the street or whatever. She keeps on looking at her husband's Instagram, and she's like, okay, good, he's not moving on. And then like 20 minutes into the episode, she looks at her husband's Instagram again, like for the 5th time, and then suddenly sees a new picture with someone else, and she's like, ah.
That said, she is an unreliable narrator, right? Like usually when someone witnesses something terrible and they have a show like this, like Disturbia or Rear Window or Woman in the Window, like it's always they have some form of problem or they're a teenager or you can't trust them. So can you trust what we're seeing here? Because you couldn't trust that the daughter was real.
You couldn't trust the daughter was real, but everything else, it seemed like...
And you compared her to Dexter, so that makes me think maybe she's evil?
Well, when it started off, I was thinking to myself, because I could tell the show was going to go some dark route, I was like, it's either going to be she killed someone accidentally, someone moved next door and ended up being evil, that's what it ended up being, or both. Like, she's part of something that she doesn't want to be, and so that's what I got from the title of it, but it ended up being just the second one. There's someone evil next door.
But you do trust that she's going to end up being a good person at the end of the
It's a mini-series, you said, right? It's like not going for season 2 or anything?
They do give you a tiny cliffhanger at the end. Like, they resolve most of the issues, and then they leave it with a cliffhanger.
In that case, then I think that she's probably going to be the protagonist.
Okay. You remember that Will Ferrell, Kristen Wiig movie that came out where they tried to play, like, a straight-up Lifetime movie as well?
Well, I think it was a Lifetime movie, and I wanted to see it at the time, I remember, but then I realized it was just
and they played it, they played it completely straight. And so when I read the reviews on this, I was like, oh no, did they do something similar to that? Especially since he was involved with this. It felt like maybe this plot is too simple. You know, because when we did the after party, there were so many interweaving things. You said they had the Spider-Verse, like people brought in so that like everybody, we could see all the different unreliable narrators. Right. This is just one person, and they're basing it off a movie that didn't do primarily well. Those type of movies don't garner huge success.
Maybe that's why they decided to turn it into a TV show or something like that.
I guess, but I also heard the complaint that it was too long because it was a TV show.
Too long.
It should have been a movie.
One of my pros, though, was that I actually put that it was short. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm in, like, the minority in that one. I don't know.
Compared to Why Women Kill, I forget did you like that one or not?
Yeah, I really liked Why Women Kill.
Okay, so
this
doesn't match that.
This does not match that at all.
And what would be the biggest drawback of this? Just it doesn't go crazy enough, or what?
Well, at this point, it's just the fact
not enough characters.
Slow moving. Not enough characters. Has that been a complaint of the TV show?
Well, I just was writing down, and there's only seems to be about 4 or 5.
Yeah, no, I mean, throughout the episode, we are only introduced to, like, 3 main people, and there's, like, 2 minor ones.
With the woman in the window, it got so kind of boring throughout. Like, you kept on seeing these twists and such, but like her narration being so off, and then people continually like dismissing her, it was more annoying than it was in the other plot. So I'm wondering, in this, like, does she ever suffer from that? Has anybody not believed what she said?
I think that more people are just, like, kind of scared of what she might do. Like, it would be pretty scary if someone who used to have a kid shows up to school and then it ends up being that they're in a bathrobe. Like,
well, that's why it's like, why would you set them up on a date?
Yeah,
it seems like a strange thing to... Was that Mary Holland? Was that her best friend, Sloane?
Yeah. That was who it was.
Oh, the person who did the music in this. Was the music at all different?
No, the music felt like it was just normal.
Yeah, because it was the person who did the music for An American Pickle. I found that intriguing.
So they got like comedy people to do. I mean, there's comedy in it, but it's like a drama horror type thing. Do you think that's where like TV's going?
I think they're just testing the boundaries right now.
I mean,
let's hire some cartoonists to do a horror comedy spoof, but that's not going to be totally parodying it. It will itself be the actual mystery show that you want it to be. So it's trying to appeal to, I guess, a wide range of people.
Yeah, I would probably say so.
They did fight to keep the title in there, because at one point they wanted to be like, well, maybe we should shorten it to like The Woman in the House.
I mean, that would have been easier. This is like 12 words long. I don't mind it.
Now people shorten it as TWITHASFTGINTW.
Is that what you typed in when you were doing research for this?
No. I just typed in the full... I just started with The Woman in, and that's where it pulled it in. If we don't have anything else to like talk about, then that's where we'll leave our review. Anything else you wanted to point out? You like Neil's performance?
Yeah.
You like the handyman's performance?
This might surprise you. I wasn't really looking at the performances that much. But...
Okay. Because they're supposed to ham it up a little bit, right?
Oh, yeah, no, completely. There actually is one funny part in this where, and I put down in my notes originally that it as a con because of how melodramatic it was, where Kristen Bell, you're not supposed to know this at the time, but she's daydreaming about Neil, and Neil comes over to her house, and they start, like, having sex. And I was like, what, this makes this show so much worse. But then when it ended up being a dream fantasy thing, I was like, oh, that is funny. And it was supposed to be, it was completely played to be hammy and for laughs.
Yeah, I think I heard about that scene because Decider, when they do the sex and skin thing, they were like, well, there's just this moment where she's in a bra.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like the murder trope is done so much. They have to witness something crazy that's not a murder.
To me, I thought that the more interesting aspect would be if it was that the main character accidentally killed someone, but they did it for laughs. And is it too much?
I think it'd be funny to do it from the opposite side. Like, you accidentally commit a murder, you look over, and the neighbor saw you. And then you have to be the one stopping the neighbor or making them believe that they didn't do it. Or that you didn't do it.
Would it be too much of a cliche to say that I would probably cast, like, Kristen Ritter in a role like that or something?
Okay. I mean, that's fine.
Well, yeah, you're asking.
Cool. All right. Got to keep the Kristens in this. Right? Okay. Thanks for listening. We'll see you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.